Hi, everyone. Thanks again for joining us for another episode of Doing More. Fennemore is all about doing more for our team members, our clients, and the communities that we serve. In today's episode, we are featuring our Chief People Officer, Cheryl Mostrom Cecil. And the reason why we are celebrating and showcasing her is because on Friday, March 5th is Employee Appreciation Day. So we figured who better to shed some light and share some winning strategies about how to show your employees that you appreciate them than our Chief People Officer. So Cheryl, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Lindsay. I'm looking forward to this topic. It's one that's near and dear to my heart, one that I think is important to organizations, and I look forward to talking about it with you.
So there may be some organizations that missed out on celebrating on Friday, March 5th. We get it. There's been a lot going on, and maybe it just didn't get on the calendar this year. So for those organizations or for those leaders that miss the opportunities to celebrate their employees on Friday, March 5th, is there another date that they could look to do it?
There sure is, and it's the date that Fennemore celebrates. It is Staff Appreciation Day on April 21st, and we actually celebrate it all week long. So in a law firm, as you know, our attorneys are very important, and we definitely appreciate them. But sometimes what happens is the staff get lost in the shuffle. So we make it an entire week where we focus on the staff and we say thank you in a variety of ways. So whether it's March or April, there are many opportunities.
So my first question for you is, why is it important for leaders or organizations to celebrate their employees?
I love that question. And I think that there's a human component and then there's the organizational component. So we as human beings are hardwired in our DNA to want to feel seen, to want to feel appreciated, to want to feel recognized. How that translates into the business environment is that organizations that do that well, they create a culture of positivity. And that matters because that means engaged employees, employees that want to stay with an organization. And how does that translate for success for a company in profitability, in productivity, in tenure, and ultimately ongoing success for that organization? So it's a positivity loop that builds off of something like appreciation along with other things.
Like many things, the idea of one size fits all doesn't necessarily even apply into employee appreciation. So do you have any tips around how organizations or leaders can make it a little bit more individualized?
Individualization and appreciation is a great point, and I think one that sometimes gets lost in the discussion. We as human beings, again, are different. Some of us are motivated intrinsically, some extrinsically. Some of us have different, what's called languages of appreciation. So for some employees, that's going to be something tangible, we call gifts or financial. Some it's going to be words of appreciation. Some it's going to be just simply spending time with them. Others it's going to be doing something that helps them out and helps lift their load a little bit. So there are actually tools out there that help you to determine what your employees' appreciation language is, if you will, in a corporate environment. And the organization across the macro level can determine how do we touch on those various points. But it really is helpful for the individual supervisor and manager to take a deep look at their team and say, I'm going to craft a strategy to show appreciation in ways that are meaningful to each of these folks.
For those tuning in for today's episode, I'm sure they're curious, how does Fenimore go about celebrating their employee or staff appreciation day?
Well, like a lot of companies, we've tried different things at different times, but with an emphasis on that individualization, we've shifted over the last few years to creating more choice for our team members. Some of them can select a payment for their staff appreciation recognition. Some can select a day off with pay. We do pre-COVID try to incorporate all of those touch points where we had a group gathering that recognized each of the staff members. Something we do continue to do is have the management committee send out a written recognition for the staff, as well as invite attorneys and senior staff members to write notes of thanks for the individual staff members that they can then keep.
One thing that I think really makes Fenimore such a special place to work is the fact that we like to recognize our team members on a consistent basis. And one way that we've been doing that is through an awards program. So, Cheryl, would you mind just sharing a couple of those details around that program? Because I think it might be helpful for other businesses.
I do. I like talking about the on-the-spot bonus program. It's not something Fennemore invented, of course, but it touches on several of those items that we discussed previously. With the on-the-spot bonus program, our staff members that go above and beyond in an exceptional way, because we have an extraordinary team, but in a way that isn't typical to what their daily responsibilities are, they have the opportunity to be nominated for a cash award. And included with that cash award is a summary of what they did in a written format, and recognition from both the human resources team and their team manager, and in a way that they can keep both the email as well as the cash award and say as a thank you.
Well, Cheryl, I think you shared some great advice, some new innovative ideas for different business leaders and organizations to think about. So if you missed Employee Appreciation Day on Friday, March 5th, no need to worry. There's another date coming up in April on April 21st for you to go ahead and celebrate those team members. So as always, Cheryl, appreciate your time and your energy. And thanks so much for sharing some winning strategies.
Thanks for having me today, Lindsay.